Shabbat Shalom, good morning. As we enter Shabbat, I think everybody knows that we're going into President's Weekend, notably known for being a wonderful respite from going to school and work in the middle of the winter, and also known as the time we commemorate the birthdays primarily of Presidents Washington and Lincoln. I hope that everyone knows the history of Jews with regard to President Washington. In August of 1790, just about 18 months after Washington was inaugurated, Washington made a trip to Newport, Rhode Island. At that time, the community of Jews in Newport, Rhode Island, among the oldest communities of Jews, they claimed to be the oldest community of Jews in America, had really been reconstituting itself after the Revolutionary War, during a time in which many of those Jews went back to England. And Washington visited the congregation and addressed the congregation and some other members of the clergy from other faiths, and brought with them, received from them at that time, from their nominal leader, a man named Moses Seixas, a very warm greeting. And that greeting has been preserved in the National Archives, and anybody who wants to read it can go on the website and see, in which Moses Seixas indicated to Washington that he was thrilled to welcome President Washington on behalf of the Jewish community of Newport, Rhode Island, and spoke about all of the common things that the Jewish community of Rhode Island had in common with America in general. It's a very warm, wonderful letter. And in response to that, George Washington responded at some point a little later on, also in August of 1790, if my memory serves me, and wrote a very warm letter to the Jewish community of Newport, Rhode Island, a letter that has also been preserved, and a letter that really has come to symbolize the place that Jews play in the United States of America, and the idea that we have really been here since even well before independence. And that letter, too, speaks about the warm relationship and shared mutual values that the United States of America and the Jewish community of America have in common. And this has been a great point of pride for our Jews throughout the centuries, throughout America's history. And for the most part, with very few exceptions, the Jewish community has had warm and collegial relations with every person who has served as president, even when some of those presidents we know have been anti-Semitic or harbored anti-Semitic views. Nonetheless, Jews have tried to maintain, regardless of party and regardless of political persuasion, so to speak, have maintained a warm relationship with them, with the exception, of course, of Ulysses Grant, who in 1862 expelled Jews from his military district that encompassed Tennessee and Mississippi and a few other states as he was fighting the Civil War. And he did this because he believed that Jews were in control of a black market in cotton. That actually wasn't true. And that order was quickly countermanded by President Lincoln. And actually, in his writings, President Grant, Ulysses Grant, who became the president, comes to really regret his decision to expel Jews from his district, and indicates that it really wasn't a sign of particular malice towards Jews, but more of a military decision. Whether that's true or not, we will learn. At any rate, it is a moment, a time that we should certainly celebrate the history of Jews in this country and take great pride in all that we have accomplished. I hope we're going to see you tonight at 6:15 in the Gore Sanctuary for another wonderful service. We're going to feature our CITs, so it's a good time to come. And on behalf of all of my colleagues here at Temple Judea, I want to wish you Shabbat Shalom.